photo was quite good, actually. I almost didn't recognize you in that new outfit. Ha, I had to retake it a few times, GG. Naruto answered the old Hokage with a foxy grin. He was standing in Konoha's shinobi registration room with Hiruzen Sarutobi, the third Hokage, and his secretary, after taking the photos for his ID registration. The old man was smiling at him, while stamping the document which contained his CV and the photo. See Naruto-kun, I told you changing your clothes would be a good thing for you. Yeah, I know. But I still don't like very much. It doesn't have much orange on it, Mata-chan. His face twisted oddly when the two-tailed cat blew a raspberry at him in his mind. His new attire included a dark blue pair of trousers with orange flame-like stripes at the tip of the cuffs, a pair of fingerless gloves together with two medium-sized steel bangles, and a black sleeveless shirt which hugged tightly around his chest and torso, showing off his rather well-built body. His headband was tied firmly on his forehead. Naruto didn't notice it, but all the training he had done in the past actually did make his body a sight of attraction to any girls who saw it. Which was none, because he always hid it under the bizarre orange jumpsuit. That explains why only the Hyuga girl showed interest in you. X-ray eyes and everything. Ah, shut up. It's all thanks to Matatabi when he first figured out the way to make the beasts appeared out of his body. 2 days ago. You know what, this is kind of boring for you guys, right? My imagination was not quite good anyway. Naruto said while standing together with Kurama in his new mindscape. The dark and dirty sewer, EW, is my mind really that dirty, was gone, replaced by an endless lushful green meadow with a river running across, a range of mountains at the horizon, blue sky with the sun shining brightly, and standing in the middle was a sakura tree which was as big as the Hokage monument. Kurama sighed. This is quite alright. It's much better than staying in that sewer. You know, never before have I got a Jinchuriki who bothered to do this for me. I appreciate it. She scratched the seal on her neck, which now formed a leather collar with the kanji of seal written on it. Although it might be better if this was a necklace or something. Naruto looked at the vixen and smiled. After receiving her half back from his father, the fox seemed to mellow out quite a lot. Well, but I don't want to leave you guys in here all the time, he insisted, then pouted. If only I could do something to let you guys out there for a while. I think you can, Oni-chan. The two turned back to see Saikyo standing, well, crawling? Whatever, behind them. The slug seemed to blush a bit when Kurama and Naruto's eyes stared at her. When I was with Utakata and Ai-chan, he used this jutsu to bring me out there for a walk, sometimes. Really? But do you know how to do it, Saikyo? Well, he just crossed his fingers, and my soul and some of my chakra were pulled out, and I'm outside. Cross fingers? Where have I heard it before? Naruto's eyes suddenly widened in realization. It is the shadow clone jutsu. But his eyes squinted. How can the shadow clone jutsu get you out? Because the shadow clone contains a part of its creator's soul when it is created. Naruto jumped. He didn't realize Kokuo standing next to him since who knew? You see, Kokuo explained, unlike a normal clone jutsu, a shinobi cannot perform tangible clone jutsu without some kind of blueprint and catalyst as a base. In the shadow clone's case, a part of your own soul is both the blueprint and the catalyst. That part of your soul stays in the clone as it exists, and returns to you when the clone disappears. That's the reason why the clone has a personality, which is yours, takes the form of yourself, and returns its memories and experiences to you when it disperses. Therefore, instead of your soul, if you use another soul and chakra to perform the technique, such as ours, you will be able to send us out as shadow clones, and it takes whatever forms we want it to be. He stopped, seeing the long face of Naruto. You didn't understand anything, did you? Naruto nodded dumbly. The five-tailed horse face-bombed. Next time, try to simplify your speech, Kurama chimed in. Naruto cannot understand anything longer than 50 words. Naruto pouted. That's so mean. Tailed Beast Shadow Clone Jutsu. Smoke filled the entire room, then dispersed, revealing 9 figures standing in front of Naruto. But they were not the tailed beasts. At least, not anymore. Instead, there were 5 girls and 4 guys. And they looked definitely human to Naruto. Isabu, Chome and Matatabi simply chose a form that looked similar to their ex-Jinchuriki, albeit with some distinctive features. Isabu's eyes, instead of a blank purple like Yugura's, were brown and spirited, his gray hair was spiky similar to the head of his beast form, and there was no scar on his face. Komiai's hair, instead of mint green like Fu's, had a brilliant saffron shade with some red streak and a ponytail. And Matatabi looked like a twin of Yujito, except for her bright blue hair and a rounder chin. However, Naruto almost facepalmed when he saw the other tailed beasts in their human forms. Shikako took the form of a teenage girl with tomboyish sandy hair tied into a ponytail on the back of her head. She wore a sleeveless white top which looked suspiciously like a sport bra, showing off her bare midriff and navel, and a very provoking pair of jeans which couldn't hide anything, just enough to cup her round ass and not make it look like a pair of panties. But with her rather flat chest, the cute big yellow eyes and the constant scowl on her face which looked suspiciously like a pout, she looked just like a little girl who was trying in vain to become sexy. Son Goku's form looked like it was ripped off from a certain shounen martial art manga. His hair had the same shade of red as his fur in beast form, but so spiky it seemed to be at the level of impossible. His body was tall and muscular, and he wore a sleeveless orange and blue set of martial art gi, showing off his well-built arms, with a blue belt and a pair of boots. But the weirdest thing in his body was a tail behind his, but instead of 4, which wrapped around his waist like a furry belt. Kokuo's was a middle-aged man with white short hair spiked at the back similar to his horns in his beast form. His outfit was simple, a gray jacket and a pair of khaki trousers, together with a pair of sandals, which looked kind of weird for a know-it-all like him. The truth was, Naruto couldn't look at him without imagining him in a blue suit with a red tie on his neck. Saikyo appeared in the form of a young girl. Being a slug in beast form, she let her snowy white, ground-touching long hair drop down her forehead as a straight bang, partly hiding her ruby red eyes from view. Her white dress and purple long-sleeved shirt made her already pale skin even paler. She exuded a regal and ladylike aura. It's cute, but somewhat scary. It's just like she was an 18-year-old woman stuffed into the body of a child. And she called him Oni-chan. Naruto almost shuddered at the thought. Yuki, surprisingly, was the most normal. He became a tan and bald man with a black, short beard that screamed badass, and a muscular body that could not be mistaken from a professional wrestling champion. He wore a black sleeveless tight shirt and a pair of black jeans with a pair of sunglasses. On his right arm, extended from his shoulder, was a strange tattoo that looked like a complex ceiling array of some sort. Whether that or maybe it's just for decoration, Naruto didn't know. Finally, Kurama donned the form of a beautiful woman with short pink hair tied into a big ponytail by a blue ribbon behind her head. She wore a sleeve-detached blue and black traditional yukata-like dress with no neck and only 2 pieces of blue cloth covering her front and behind, revealing her white thighs and her rather bountiful cleavage. Her long, smooth legs were hidden under a pair of long blue stockings, and a pair of orange fox ears and a fluffy tail sprouted out of her head and butt. Note to self, Naruto thought, half of the tailed beasts are otaku freaks. Wow, it worked better than I thought, Kurama said, rubbing her newly acquired D-cup breasts, giving poor Isabu a nosebleed and a slap on the back of his head by Matatabi. So cute. Chome squeaked like a fangirl and squeezed Kurama in a crushing glomp, making the fox girl flailing her arms hysterically. Ack. Ack. Can't breathe. Yeah, that's cute, Matatabi sighed, reaching out her hand to pry Kurama out of Komiai's crushing grip, but you can't go outside looking like this, Nei-san. But this looks good on me. Kurama protested. Yeah, but the ears and tail, the cat girl pointed out while face-palming. Kurama pouted, making Naruto shuddered, snapped her fingers, and the fox ears and tail disappeared. By the way, Naruto-kun, Matatabi continued. I won't let you go anywhere with those silly orange clothes on your body. She wagged a finger at him, while her other hand planted firmly on her hip. Naruto pouted. But I like orange. That will have to change too. I'll not allow my Jinchuriki to wear such hideous clothes as long as I'm here. The cat turned human glared at him, not noticing Goku shouting hey. Don't diss the orange at her back. Well, too bad, Naruto shrugged. It's not like I have any other clothes anyway. Matatabi's eyes gleamed dangerously. Naruto suddenly felt scared. He noticed a similar gleam in Shikaku's, Kurama's, Komiai's and Saikyo's eyes. What? And that's the reason why Naruto was standing in front of the third Hokage right now, wearing new outfits that made him almost unrecognizable in the eyes of people who used to know him. He could swear he heard Gamachan in his pocket crying because of her emptiness. The first time Naruto saw Sarutobi, he had had to do his best to refrain himself from jumping him and giving him a bone-crushing hug. The man was like a real grandfather to him. He had been the only person in the village, besides Iruka-sensei, Tuchi and Ayam, who hadn't thought of him as a demon and a failure when he was young. And he was the first one to die protecting the village in Naruto's life. The last time Naruto saw him, the old Hokage was a corpse revived by Orochimaru, and he had to watch his soul being ripped off his body right in front of him, without being able to do anything to help. Despite being able to restrain his body, he couldn't help shedding a drop of tears. Here Naruto, your registration is completed. Remember to go to your classroom at 8 a.m. tomorrow to hear your team selection, alright? The Hokage gave Naruto his stamped registration with a smile. He grinned back and nodded. Speaking of team selection, it should be right. Old man, fight me. The Hokage seat is mine today. Now. Konohamaru jumped into the room, shuriken on his hand, and tripped on his scarf. Just like old time. Naruto rolled his eyes. Ow. That hurt. Konohamaru whined, while rubbing his bruised forehead. Then he noticed Naruto. Hey! You tripped me, didn't you? Naruto's left eyebrow twitched. You tripped on your own, idiot. He deadpanned. Hey! No one talked to me like that. With that, Konohamaru jumped at Naruto, intending to punch him in the face. But Naruto easily sidestepped the boy, then grabbed his outstretched arm and twisted it to his back. Right on cue, the teacher of Konohamaru, Ebisu, jumped into the room. Hey! Let go of him, brat. He is Hokage-sama's grandson. Konohamaru glared at Naruto. Now that he knows who I am, he can't do anything to me. PFFF, he's just the same as everyone. But that only made Naruto's eyebrow twitch harder. You think I give a damn, moron? Crunch. Even after all those years, he still found the whole Hokage-sama's grandson thing annoying. Naruto held out his right hand and tried to make a Rasengan. It's worth mentioning that, before the Fourth Shinobi World War, he had finally managed to complete the jutsu, and now he could do it with one hand, just like Jiraiya and his father. The chakra spun around his palm, focused, and exploded on his face. Arf! Naruto screamed when his body was thrown away like a ragdoll and slammed into a tree nearby. Damn it, what's happening? This is gonna be a problem. Hey, Naruto, try to make it with a shadow clone like you used to do before. From inside his head, Kurama suggested worriedly. Naruto nodded and made a shadow clone. He started to focus his chakra into his palm while the clone spun it. It exploded even more violently, sending him and the clone crashing into the tree again. Oh dear. Kurama. What's happening to me? Naruto asked in panic. I'm sorry, Naruto. Your chakra control was completely ruined. The vixen sighed, and Naruto's face twisted into a horror gape. What? How? Why? He screamed to the sky, scaring a flock of pigeons hiding in a bush nearby, and a certain little boy who was hiding behind a large tree. I'm not here. Crap, I said that out loud, didn't I? The vixen in his head rolled her eyes and started to explain. Naruto, you remember that when you graduated, your chakra control was abysmal, right? Well, I think when we're thrown back to the past, your body was also reverted back to that state. Plus, she added, after a brief thought, now you contain not only me, but all 9 of us tailed beasts. That means your reserve should be, say, at least 9 times larger than you had in our past. Truth is, I'm surprised that your body didn't explode because of chakra overload. Must be an Uzumaki thing, I guess, Kokuo suggested. I heard that the Uzumaki clan was famous for their incredible stamina and life force. Besides, it's not like no one has ever contained all of us before. Did you forget Ota-san? But that means all my skills are down the toilet. Naruto wailed mentally. And the bell test of Kakashi-sensei is in 2 days. What do I do? Anime tears started to pour out of his eyes like 2 small streams. Then start training, you idiot. Kurama chided him. Don't you realize that you're wasting your time crying? Oh, and someone has been following you for almost an hour. Ah, I forgot. Stop hiding and come out here, Konohamaru. From behind the great tree, the grandson of the third peeked out. As expecting of my boss. You noticed me right away, he exclaimed, jumping out of his hiding spot. What are you doing here, Konohamaru? Naruto asked. Didn't you go back with that Ebisu guy? No. He sucked. You're way cooler than him, boss. Konohamaru shook his head. Hey boss. Please teach me that sexy jutsu you used to defeat the old man. Naruto had heard this request before. This time, he couldn't help but broke into laughter. Why do you want to learn it? It's just a joke, you know. Honestly, I didn't think the old man was such a pervert, Naruto said after finally calming himself down. It doesn't matter. I need to learn it to defeat him. Konohamaru shouted. Then I'll become Hokage. If I can do that, everyone will acknowledge me. The boy's rant was stopped by Naruto's fingers poking his forehead. Idiot. If being Hokage was that easy, everyone would be Hokage. The Hokage hat only belongs to the best shinobi. You don't become Hokage for people to acknowledge you, you become Hokage because people acknowledge you. So, he flashed a smile which looked disturbingly similar to that of a certain green beast of Konoha. Work hard, and gain everyone's respect first. But that will take too long. Konohamaru protested. Besides, Ebisu-sensei didn't teach me anything good. Then you can train with me. Naruto grinned. You think there is a shortcut to becoming Hokage? If you want to become one, you have to train your ass out, just like me. Now let's get to training, we don't have all day. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Konohamaru's eyes widened when a dozen of Narutos appeared on the training field. Then he grinned. Yash. I'm not gonna lose to you, boss. Hey boss. I finally made it to the branch. He. Damn it. Even Konohamaru is better than me now. Bam. Crash. Crash. Damn. I still can't get it. Naruto climbed out of the hole he had made when drilling his face on the dirt after blasting off his tree again. Konohamaru, who was now already on a pretty high branch, laughed. Ha ha ha. I beat you, boss. Just you wait, brat. Naruto yelled back. I'll catch up to you right now. Unknown to the two spirited boys, two pairs of eyes were watching them from afar, at the other side of the training ground. Wah. 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 That's Ebisu, who was gaping like an idiot as Naruto was teaching Konohamaru better than he could ever did. It's okay, Ebisu. Even I can't believe it, either. And that's the third Hokage, who was patting the poor special Jounin's shoulder while frowning. There is really something very wrong with Naruto today.